remember the first time I played this game, I came through this area, well, not this room, but, you know, the whole area besides it where the dowsing machine kept pinging and yet there was nothing in sight, and I wonder what the hell was wrong with it. And then I moved on to that other area I was in just now, and then I came all the way up here, and suddenly it made so much sense. There was this one invisible item among a whole bunch of visible ones that kept triggering the dowsing machine, and I don't know if this happened to you the first time you played this, but I was definitely confused at the very least. So now I think we are pretty much done here. Unfortunately, I don't have dig anymore, so I'm going to have to make my great escape from the Relic Passage the old-fashioned way. Oh, great! Sure. Give me a dust cloud just as I'm about to leave, will ya? Well, at least I already got my Excadrill. Worst thing that happened. Okay, right. It's winter, so I gotta go down there. But yeah, worst thing that could have happened was that I miss out on one shard. Oh no! I missed out on one shard. Whatever shall I do? No, seriously, some of these FunFest missions are so good for farming shards. It's kind of silly to go at it the old-fashioned way with nothing but elbow grease, trying to use repels like crazy just to get those dust clouds to appear. Okay, so I'm out. Now I'm going to fly right back to Driftvale City and heal my Pokemon, and after that, it's going to be onwards to Route 6. Which is going to lead all the way to Chargestone Cave. So, just a little healing session, since my Pokemon were pretty low on PP, not HP. So, medals. Ace Pilot? What? Okay, Battle Veteran for doing a lot of battles, I imagine. Ace Pilot. The hell could that be? Oh, I think I get it. You have to use Fly a certain number of times. Right, they really got achievements for everything. They scraped the bottom of the barrel with that. I hope they get a little bit more creative in X and Y. Anyway, one very important thing here. You want to have an empty slot in your party, and Pignite's the only thing that's not a team member or an HM slave. That was in my group, so that's why it went into the PC. Volcarona goes in the lead because, as I recall, there are many Pokemon on Route 6 that Volcarona has an advantage against, such as Carablast, Foongus, Deerling, that kind of stuff. Okay, this just says Route 6, so moving right along, I think I can continue on the rant that I began last time, and I ended it on the note of, you know, Gen 1 balance was so wacky that why am I even trying to make sense of the fact that Earthquake had such amazing power? But personally, I have an idea as to why they give Earthquake that favor treatment and no other type that had an immunity in its type chart. It's just the fact that in gaming in general, it's a popular recurring theme, you know, that ground moves will do nothing against flying enemies, so I think that's why they felt pretty comfortable giving Earthquake 100 power, because ground against flying is probably the most notorious kind of immunity you can get in gaming. I'll get into an example of that a bit later, but as to what went on with that over the generations, well, the type chart definitely changed, and I don't mean just with the addition of the Dark and Steel types. There were many existing matchups that were retconned in Generation 2, such as, for example, Bug was no longer weak to Poison, Psychic was no longer immune to Ghost. Instead, it became weak to Ghost. A few matchups like that were changed, but overall there were a few more immunities that were added throughout the type charts, most notably Psychic against Dark, Poison against Steel. This one's interesting because Poison actually did get a huge buff in Generation 2 in the form of Sludge Bomb, and To be fair, Sludge Bomb, on paper, looks like a pretty interesting move before you take into account its shitty typing, because it's got 90 power, 100 accuracy, no drawbacks, and are you serious? You're gonna play that game with me? Fuck! And, yeah, what was I trying to get at already? Damn you, Tranquilin! Of course I missed. These fucking Tranquils remind me so much of Pelipper's in the Hoenn games. God. But, back to what I was trying to get at here. 90 power, 100 accuracy, no drawback, 30% chance of an added effect, which was regular poison, which sometimes can be considered a drawback because regular poison means that you're immune to more threatening status, so sometimes it's actually sought after. But overall, regular poison is still better than nothing, unless, of course, stuff like Guts or Quick Feet are involved. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm just going off on tangents here like crazy. But yeah, the point is that no type ever since got that same big favor treatment that Ground got with Earthquake. Even though, and this is worth mentioning, types have been buffed in each generation since the first one, especially with the physical special split, which was pretty much the best thing that could ever happen to many Pokemon. But other than that, seriously, you think of type, category combinations that are still piss poor. There aren't very many that come to mind. Probably the most obvious one is Special Rock, where you have the choice between Ancient Power and Power Gem. Holy crap! Such huge competition here! Power Gem, 70 power, 100 accuracy, no added effect! An absolute shit for distribution. At least Ancient Power is a little bit more widespread, but it's got barely any power to speak of and barely any PP to speak of, so I don't really recommend it either, even though getting that boost to all stats 10% of the time can be sweet at times, but still, not really worth it. So yeah, type balance, definitely better than it used to be, but there is still room for improvement, especially considering how many drawback moves are just plain better than their non-drawback equivalents, which many people would like to see something done about that, but personally, I don't really know. I think it's an interesting choice right now, what you can do, drawback versus non-drawback, I guess. But it's true that most of the time, drawback moves will win out, especially in the case of hyper-offensive Pokemon that, oh, we got our first Fungus trap of the game here. And trust me when I say there are many more of these than in the first game. In the first game, it was pretty much limited to, like, this area, but there are many more areas in this game with Fungus and Amoongus traps, such as, like, Route 22, I think it is. Anyway, Sharon is standing right in front of the Weather Institute, and, oh, well, of course, we can't have a journey through a route in this game without an interruption, but this one is actually interesting, because instead of being just tutorial crap, it actually furthers the story a bit. And yeah, temperature, there were flash freezes recorded around Unova with temperatures as low as minus 58 Fahrenheit, which is, I think, minus 50 Celsius, I think. But yeah, this needs further investigation, and you know, it's this may not seem like much at first, but considering who the legendary on the cover of the game is, you can be certain that this could pretty much qualify as a Chekhov's gun, I think, at least. Anyway, for slowing me down, I get HM03 Surf as a reward, which means that I'm going to be able to explore all kinds of new places that I couldn't get to before. But first, let's see what's inside this place. As you can see, the The deerlings that I caught in the first game are still all here, so I guess me completing this side quest is actually canon. Well, unless someone else did it for them, but considering how lazy Pokemon NPCs usually are, wouldn't count on it. Anyway, this NPC here is interested in Pokemon that can change the weather. I don't really know what she does, but I would assume that, let's say, if I brought, like, a Politoed to her, she would talk about rain's effects or something like that. Rare Deerling, this is why you want to have an empty slot when you come here. Because this Deerling here is special. No nickname, please. Its ability is Serene Grace, which doubles the chance of added effects on its moves, such as Return, which has none, Horn Leech, which has none, Mega Horn, which has none, Jump Kick, which has none. So basically, Serene Grace is a complete rip-off compared to Chlorophyll or Sap Sipper. And note, before you ask, the draining effect on Horn Leech does not count as an added effect for the purposes of Horn Leech. Now, I am going to give Surf to my, I was about to say Wingull for a second here, Ducklet. So, there goes, I guess, Bumblebee, because, well, it's not like I'm planning on using it in battle anyway. So Ducklet now knows both Fly and Surf, making for a very mobile HM Slave. Now, normally, I guess I should go all over the place and check out the places that I haven't been to. That I haven't been to because I didn't have access to Surf, I mean, but I want to keep that for next time. There was a scientist inside the Weather Institute. Did I just call it the Weather Institute the whole time? The Seasonal Institute! Damn! Well, at least I caught it. At least I caught it before the video ended. But anyway, there was a scientist in there who said that, Deerling can change its form with season changes. He wondered whether that could be considered a type of evolution. Well, considering that starting with Generation 6, it seems like the term evolution is used willy-nilly to describe things that have nothing to do with evolution. Well, Pokemon evolution in the traditional sense, I mean, well, I guess it could, and I am going to take it to my grave. They should have called it evolution, Mega Evolutions, something else. Maybe something like Metamorphosis, because that is a lot closer to what it is than Mega Evolution, considering evolution is permanent, Mega Evolution isn't, it's bound to an item, but I've already explained my stance on that, so I won't repeat myself. Though, to be fair, even evolution in the traditional sense when it pertains to Pokemon isn't really evolution as much as it is a form of metamorphosis. So I guess if you use evolution as sort of a substitute for the term metamorphosis, which would be more biologically accurate, I guess, and the word evolution probably is a bit more understandable for children than metamorphosis, at least in the scientific sense of things. I guess that's why they did that, but either way, as a guy who studied in science, it sort of rubs me the wrong way a little. That's all. And on our closing note today, Volcarona hits level 40. Whirlwind? Pass! Give me some better moves, damn it. Well, of course I knew Volcarona was a bit starved in that aspect before I started doing this LP, so I'm going to have to live with my choice. So now, next time on Let's Play Pokemon Y2, we're going to go around the world and surf in search of new areas that we could not access before. But wait, there's more! I almost forgot, just to the north of this Pokemon breeder, there is a hidden grotto, and inside is a repel. Well, at least I guess I freed up that space so something more useful can spawn here next time? Maybe?